Hey everyone, I'm Joel, State Referee Administrator for the state of Arizona. Welcome back to this month's Meet the Assigner. Every month we're sitting down with one of our incredible Arizona assigners to hear what it's like on their side of the whistle. They're the folks making the magic happen behind the scenes, getting games covered, helping referees grow, and somehow surviving the weekend chaos. Today's guest is Chris McConkey, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her and get to know her a little bit better. So, Chris, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here today.
Sure.
Okay, good. Let's get into the questions. Chris, how did you first get involved in assigning, and what keeps you doing it?
Well, in 1981, my kids started playing soccer. And next thing you know, I'm coaching. In 1983, I started refereeing and helping the then assigner. And did I say AYSO? This is through AYSO. So I helped him. Once, I think in 1985, we transferred over to club soccer. And then 2 years later, I became a USSF licensed assigner with a soccer club that my kids played with, and it was Alliance, Phoenix Fire Alliance. So that takes me to right now, I've been doing this for about 35 years.
Wow, that is a long time.
Yes.
What keeps you doing it for this long?
The challenge. I like a good challenge. And anytime you deal with humans, we have lots of challenges. You meet lots of nice people and kids who are eager to, work and learn. And, at first they join and say, oh, okay, I can make a few bucks and don't have to work at McDonald's. And then they discover, oh, I can become a professional referee. So.
Great. Well, Chris, what's one thing that most referees don't realize about the assigning process? They think they just have started or whatever it is, or maybe they've been in it a year or two and they just don't understand the process. What's one thing you don't think, or you think that the referees don't realize about this whole process of assigning?
When the assigners, now that we're using these Google Docs, we send them out, we're just we're telling them this is what's going on in a couple weeks or even a month. And it's constant where I get, and other assigners, it's when am I getting my assignments? How come I don't have my assignments yet? It's called Be Patient, people. I don't have the schedules yet. And once I get the schedules, I can't assign 800 games in 24 hours.
So what do you mean by the schedules? Maybe explain that to people who are so new that they don't understand how the schedules work. What is that?
Okay. When we have league schedules in advance, that's easy because they're already up on the system. When you have a tournament schedule, we sometimes don't get them. We're not lucky enough to get them 2 weeks in advance. Half the time it's 7 days or 5 days in advance. And we literally then have to sit down and work through the tournament schedules. That includes uploading them into the Assignor program, which I notoriously always make a boo-boo somewhere, and start working on it. So patience is a virtue.
Okay, so the thing is for most referees don't realize that the assigners are not given schedules that far in advance to where they can plug people into the assignments that far in advance. So if you get an assignment, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days before a game, that is more the norm than getting them several weeks to a month out, is what you're saying.
Correct. There are some tournaments, like President's Day tournament, you get them, the assigners get them a month in advance. But besides that, no.
Okay, good. So patience is something that we should learn.
Yes.
Good deal. What do you look for then when you're assigning referees to the matches? I can speak from experience to know that assigners have the reputation, or sometimes people think it's just taking a name and throwing it on a game. But I know in your case, that's not the case at all. So explain to these people watching this what you look for, and kind of your assigning process, as much as you are willing to share.
I first look at open availability, and I look at experience. So for the top games, of course, I'm going out for all the regional referees, the higher levels, the ones that are trying to advance and they need the U19s or whatever for assessments. I look for conflicts, because I certainly don't want to put someone on a game that they have a relative on. But mainly, like when I say open availability, a lot of people will put, I'm only available from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I want to work 6 games. That's not feasible.
Okay,
So,
explain that. Like, what do you expect? So maybe those that are filling out these availability forms for the first time, or maybe are just getting new and involved in it, what are those used for? What should they be filling out? How should they be filling them out? How can you explain that to them?
okay, in tournaments and even in some of the league games, there are night games. And a lot of people do not like to work the night games. So how do assigners figure that one out? So yes, do we have referees that come from out of state that want to work? Yes. And of course, they're going to do night games. But as an assigner, we can't always give you your magic schedule. So sometimes you need to be willing to go and work the rough times. And that's the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock game times, even though it's cold.
Good. That's good. And so what we kind of want our referees to understand is sure, you're available from 11 to 2. And if somebody really does only have, say, 3 hours of availability, are you still able to assign them a game or 2? Or are you looking for people to do, 2, 3, or 4 matches when you assign them?
You try to fit people in. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll email somebody back and I'll say, okay, you only can work 11 to 2. I've got 1 game time you can physically work unless you want to work a U11 game. And it depends on the age they're asking for too. Obviously, if it's an older 11v11 game, that's 1 game. So I kind of put the onus back onto them and say, what would you like to do?
Can people ever request, hey, I'm a newer referee or I'm just beginning, can you put me as an assistant referee only, or maybe on a lower age game? Can people request and let you know that?
Yes.
How do they do that?
I prefer that. Well, on our availability form on the Google Docs, it will explain if you are an AR only, and there is also a little area where they can fill in more information. Or if it's not clear, I email them.
Okay, good. Emails, that's a big one. I know that some of our referees struggle, my daughter included, struggles looking at their emails often. So if you're watching this and you're learning how and you want to become a better referee, email is going to be your friend. I can vouch for all the assigners on this one. You must check your emails. They are not going to physically call you or text you or Snapchat you or whatever it is. You need to check your emails. So that's always good advice. What's your favorite part of the job then, Chris? What's your favorite? And then let us know that, and then we'll get to what you think the toughest part of your job is. So what's the favorite part of your assigning job?
When I'm finished. But unfortunately, you're never done because you send all the assignments out, and then you have to go work through the rejects. So
Explain what a reject is, because I think some people might think we're talking about them, and it's not a reject. It's a rejected assignment. Yeah.
Right. So after an assigner sends out all the assignments, I like to do it in bulk, and then all of a sudden you get people who reject the game or turn it back for one reason or another. Is that frustrating? Absolutely. Because they give you the availability, and instead of updating us on their availability changes, we have to then work on the turnbacks. But I think I missed the other question about my favorite part.
Your favorite part. Yeah, we got focused on the negative side too early. So what's your favorite part? Instead of being done, what's your favorite part of being an assigner?
Like I said, I enjoy meeting new people and the kids, and it's always interesting to to see who comes back since I've been doing this so long, because there's a lot of referees that were had worked for me when they were kids, and now they're adults and they've come back. I just noticed someone else in the new list you sent me, so that's always exciting.
So for those watching, I can give a little bit of backstory on this. With U.S. soccer in general, the numbers are, we have a huge spike of 13, 14, 15, and 16-year-old referees. The majority of our referees are that age. And then they get older and they get a different job, or they go to college, and then they get married and they have a life, and they kind of fall off. And so this is nationwide. This is what happens. And then again, we see this uptick by the time that their kids are starting to play again. So in their maybe mid-30s, late 30s, they start to come back to it. So there is this cycle, which is really interesting to see. So we would love to keep you guys for much longer, all the way through college. And I will give a plug out to those referees watching this right now that are maybe leaving for college or going away or younger in their lives and career. We still need you. There's a place for you. And no matter where you are in the country, we can make sure and help facilitate your continued refereeing in the country. So please stay with us. But it is common for people to actually live their life not revolving around soccer like Chris's and I's, unfortunately. So
right.
If you could give just one piece of advice then to the referees that you assign, what would you want them to know? What would you like that to be?
Read your rules of competition. Every week, whether it's a tournament, whether it's league games, you are emailed the rules of competition, things of, please be at the field 30 minutes in advance, which we know that's always an issue. And then they arrive at the field and they have no clue how long the halves are. They have no clue. All of a sudden you'll get text of, where's my field? I'm at the wrong field. So read your rules of competition, read your schedules, find out where you're going, be prepared.
That's pretty solid and should be easy advice to follow, but she's saying that for a reason, everybody. So yes. I think the majority of the things that we deal with on a game day situation are these little things that everyone should know because it's been sent out. And it's not that we don't love you and support you and want to help you get there. It's just when you're, so maybe answer this question. On a typical busy tournament weekend, say, and there's the league games and tournament games, how many games might you be assigning and how many referees might you be dealing with?
Oh.
It's not dozens, and it's probably not hundreds. It's probably in the low thousands of games and people.
Yes, especially like, for example, the Holiday Classic in December, and we also had the, MLS Next group out there. That tournament alone had 1,116 games. So, and we had league games. And so, yes, there were thousands of games and referees all over the place, and it's constant texting and phone calls of, I'm going to be late or I'm sick, whatever.
Yeah, it really is. Frustrating is the wrong word because we do this because we want to service the game. It's just overwhelming at times, and maybe you feel like you're being ignored when you're in the queue of maybe 30 or 40 other people ahead of you as we get through, customer service questions every day. So these assigners, blood, sweat, and tears, and the time that they dedicate to getting these games filled, to making sure that everyone's where they need to be, and getting the right assignments to the right people is exhausting work. And I can vouch for that. I understand how much it is. Thanks for that, Chris. Let's lighten it up just with maybe one or two more questions here at the end. How do you balance assigning with your personal and professional life? Or is there even a line there anymore?
No line anymore now that I am retired from my professional life. Sometimes, yes, things go, your personal life goes by the wayside because you have all of a sudden the emergency of, okay, I can't go to the movies because I just lost 5 referees. I got to solve that issue. And it's just at what point is your dedication? So that's my dedication, to make sure that I complete the project. So that makes me happy when my projects are completed.
Yeah, and when the weekend's done and a Sunday's done, it doesn't mean that she's done either, because then Monday and Tuesdays are usually cleaning up the schedules, making sure that payrolls are submitted, and then assigning for the next weekend. So it's not like, okay, Sunday night, Chris is free. I can tell you that there's a lot more work that goes on even after your assignment's over. So do you want to share, or do you mind sharing what you did professionally before you did this, or while you were doing this? What's your background there?
I worked at the Court of Appeals. Well, I worked at a law firm, and I worked at the Court of Appeals for 30 years. And then I retired early due to my husband being in a car accident, and so on and so forth. And that's,
here you are.
But I've always been an assigner full time, and then worked at the Court of Appeals, and then I coached. But
there you go. That's awesome. That's something a lot of people probably don't know. So it's nice to open yourself up and let them know you a little bit. Okay, last question then. And this is one that you can go in any direction you want. What is your assigning superpower?
I'm very competitive. So it's my willpower to complete the task to the best of my ability. So it's keeping myself going, whether I stay up all night because I just got all brand new schedules or whatever. It's my willpower. It's
finding the willpower to get it done.
Yes.
Quick follow-up to that. How long, let's say you have a typical 800 game tournament coming up. How long do you think that takes you, just in days, not necessarily man hours, but how many days and how much time do you think that takes you or your team, and it's mostly just you, to actually get that completed and done?
Anywhere, it could be 3 to 5 days, depending on, because in order to complete the task, I have to have the manpower of the referees that have filled out the form. So, and if you don't have enough, then you have to go stop and start sending out more emails and searching for the bodies.
So the big takeaway really is you guys need to make yourselves known to your assigners. Submit the availability forms. And maybe a quick follow-up to that is, where do they find these availability forms? How do they get on lists? How do they become available to you, especially Chris? How do you want people to contact you and get to be part of your group that you assign? How does that work?
Well, I don't have a website. Maybe I should. But what I try to do is send out my availability form to everybody. They can always email me, text me. I surely have people will say, I never got the form. Then I'll send them the form. And we go from there.
Okay. And you guys, you can find Chris's email on our website at azref.com. And then click receive assignment, and her name is listed on that list at least 3 or 4 different times. So you can find her email, and like she said, she's offered up. Just email her, introduce yourself, and she might not get back to you, or she might include you on a different list some other time, but know that she does read all of her emails, and she will get you included in games.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Is there anything else you want to say on your way out?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
When we used to have our state cup meetings back in the day, one thing I've always told everybody, you never know who's out there watching your game as a referee. So always remember in order to earn respect, you must give respect in every game.
Do you want to expound on that?
In life. Well, in
Yeah.
life. What about coaches? You have a coach yelling at you. To turn around and scream back at the coach isn't going to get anybody anywhere. So stop, show them a little respect, calm them down, and go from there.
Great advice. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Is that it? Or do you have any other words of wisdom that you can impart on to anybody?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest pet peeves is the uniforms, as you know, Joel.
Yep.
So there's too many referees out there. You're not wearing the proper socks. We do not wear the little anklet socks. And, you guys are given all this ample information, and I know it's a lot when you're first becoming referees, that you need to do this, and you need to email this person, and this is how you get games. But be prepared. Know what you need. There's a couple kids in a tournament. I think I was a little flabbergasted, but he kept coming up and he would write in the scores for his games, and he was wrong every time. So one of my field marshals, who had to be quite patient with him, she said, "Where's your book?" Because she had 3 children that used to referee for me, and she goes, "Where's your book? Where do you write the scores down?" He goes, "What book? I don't have a referee book." She goes, "Well, how do you keep track?" She goes, "It's in my brain." Well,
No.
she said, "Well, something's wrong then, because you're mixing the scores up. So you need to get some paper or whatever." She found him some paper to write on to help him out. So be prepared.
Be prepared, be professional. Could be pretty good there. All right, great. Well, we'll end up with that right there. And we'll close out by saying, hey, look, guys, behind every great match, there's a great assigner making it all happen. And this month's great assigner is Chris McConkey. She juggles schedules, she supports the referees, and she keeps Arizona soccer running smoothly. And we want to thank Chris for the quick chat and the look behind the curtain, so to say, behind the spreadsheet, the lessons that she's learned and she's imparted, and what she loves most about working with our referee community. So we want to thank Chris, and we will see you next month with another assigner. But for now, that's all, and we'll see you guys out at the pitch.
Bye.
And stopping.